In the history of the American Mafia, there have been thousands of gangsters. And of those thousands, perhaps a couple dozen have lingered in the public memory to become legends of the American mythos. Even fewer have had an entire Hollywood feature film built around their story. Child prodigy, sportsbook, casino executive, and famous non-Italian member of the Chicago outfit, this is the legacy of Lefty Rosenthal. In the summer of 1929 in Chicago, Illinois, several things could be counted on. Hot nights tempered with cool jazz, speakeasies and bathtub gin, machine gun bursts and siren blasts as cops played cat and mouse with Scarface Al Capone's notorious crew. Neon lights illuminated steaming streets. The sleepless, teeming rabble partied late. Daytime, however, was different. Daytime in Chicago belonged to baseball. Wrigley Field, home of the Chicago Cubs, and the most famous bleachers in all of baseball. It was here in these bleachers that a young Frank Lawrence Rosenthal could be found, cutting school with his classmates on warm afternoons in September and October. Frank kept score with the wrong hand, often smudging his own pencil marks. His friends called him Lefty. And while most of them were there to get a glimpse of hometown heroes like Dizzy Dean, Greek George, and all-star outfielder Bill Swish Nicholson, Lefty Rosenthal was getting a different education from the bleacher bums. He was learning how to bet. Born in the summer of 1929, Rosenthal grew up in a Jewish family on the city's diverse and dangerous west side. His father owned racehorses, and Lefty became familiar with betting odds and percentages at a very young age. He was a smart boy who quickly grew bored of school and would often skip classes, not just for baseball, but other Chicago sporting events. Frank understood the earnings potential, and the young man soon became an accomplished sportsbook. So prodigious were his expert talents and odds-making ability that by the mid-1950s, Rosenthal had been hand-chosen to work with the Chicago outfit. On behalf of the American Mafia, Rosenthal ran the biggest illegal bookmaking office in the U.S. Based in Cicero, Illinois, under the guise of the Cicero Home Improvement Company, the outfit and Rosenthal bought contracts from sports bribers to fix sporting events. When these operations eventually attracted attention from law enforcement, he was indicted as a conspirator on multiple sports bribery charges. Rosenthal moved the operation to North Bay Village in Miami to avoid attention. By 1961, Rosenthal had acquired a national reputation as a sports bettor, oddsmaker, and handicapper, and was frequently seen in the company of prominent Chicago outfit members Jackie Chironi and Fiore Buccieri. It was in this year that he was issued with a subpoena to appear before U.S. Senator John McClellan's subcommittee on gambling and organized crime. he had been accused of match fixing. During the course of the hearing, Rosenthal invoked the Fifth Amendment 37 times and was never charged. Because of this, however, the state of Florida barred him from racing establishments in that state. Rosenthal was also a suspect in multiple business and car bombings in the greater Miami area, causing the FBI to open an ongoing case file on him, which quickly grew to over 300 pages. In 1968, again to escape police attention, Rosenthal moved to Las Vegas. It was in Sin City that Lefty Rosenthal really hit his stride and embarked on a career that would change Las Vegas and inspired the 1995 Martin Scorsese film Casino. True to his upbringing, Rosenthal was a big promoter of sports gambling and created the first sportsbook operated entirely from a casino. This made Lefty even richer and made the Stardust one of the world's leading centers for sports gambling. Another Rosenthal invention was hiring more female Las Vegas blackjack dealers, which in 1 year helped double the Stardust's income. On May 4th, 1969, Rosenthal married showgirl and gangland all Jerry McGee. Jerry had a daughter from a previous marriage, and the often turbulent relationship with Rosenthal would result in 2 more children. During this period, the Chicago outfit controlled 4 casinos in Las Vegas: the Stardust, Fremont, Marina, and Hacienda. And whom did the American Mafia trust to secretly run these establishments? Why, their old bookie pal from Chicago, Frank Lefty Rosenthal, of course. But in 1976, when FBI and Las Vegas police discovered that Rosenthal was secretly running 4 large casinos without so much as a single Nevada gaming license, they held a hearing to determine his legal ability to obtain such a license. The hearing, headed by Nevada Gaming Control Board Chairman and future U.S. Senator Harry Reid, denied Rosenthal a license because of his arrest record and his documented reputation as an organized crime associate, particularly because of his boyhood friendship with Chicago mobster Anthony the Ant Spilotro. Meanwhile, McGee, disillusioned with domestic life, began spiraling into alcohol and drug addiction. As the marriage fell apart, she even had an affair with the Ant, Lefty's longtime married friend. Rosenthal and McGee were divorced in 1981. 1 year later, Rosenthal famously survived an October 4th, 1982 assassination attempt in Las Vegas in which a bomb was detonated when he started his car. In a twist seemingly straight from the Hollywood script, Rosenthal incredibly survived the incident because of a sturdy metal plate that Cadillac had installed in that model to correct balancing issues. Although no one was ever charged for this murder attempt, Milwaukee mob boss Frank Balistrieri was most likely responsible. Balistrieri, who was known as the Mad Bomber to law enforcement, was heard via wiretap blaming Rosenthal for the legal difficulties that the mob-controlled casinos were experiencing. Weeks before the bombing, Balistrieri had told his sons that he intended to get full satisfaction. 1 month after the bombing, Lefty's ex-wife, Jerry McGee, died in a motel in Los Angeles at age 46 of an apparent drug overdose. Her death was ruled accidental from a combination of Valium, cocaine, and alcohol. Rosenthal left Las Vegas about 6 months later and moved to Laguna Niguel, California, where he focused on raising his children, who were both accomplished swimmers. He was later formally banned from Las Vegas casinos in 1987, when he was placed in the Black Book, making him persona non grata, unable to work in or even enter any Nevada casino because of his alleged ties to organized crime. Despite his frequent arrests during his long career for illegal gambling and bookmaking, Rosenthal was convicted only once, after pleading no contest in 1963 to bribing a New York University basketball player to shave points. Later in his life, Lefty Rosenthal moved from Laguna Niguel to Boca Raton, Florida, and eventually back to Miami Beach, where he lived out his days in peace, running a sports betting website and working as a consultant for several offshore sports betting companies. After an apparent heart attack acclaimed the remarkable life of Frank Lefty Rosenthal, on October 13, 2008, it was revealed he had spent his final years as an informant for the FBI, codenamed Achilles. One final plot twist for one of the most colorful, influential, and successful mobsters in the history of the American Mafia.